sensitive. Albert was aging prematurely. He was always suffering from sore throats and colds and that sort of thing, and Victoria didn't pay much attention. But then he began to run a fever first week of December, and the doctors put him to bed. And 2 days later, they said, "Oh my God, the Prince Consort has typhoid fever." Well, Victoria was taken out of his room, and she had to sit 2 rooms away and watch through the doors for fear she'd catch it. And the doctors labored over him, but his fever became more and more intense, and he went into coma. And on the 14th, Albert died. Well, Victoria was totally undone by this, absolutely. Her maids carried her into her sleeping chamber, and the doors were shut. The family was summoned from all over, wherever they'd been, relatives. They all came to Windsor, buoy up their mother, but they couldn't see her. She wouldn't come out. Her maids came and went, but she would not leave her room, and they couldn't go in. And it went on for nearly 2 weeks. They were all clustered there waiting day after day to come to see their mother. Well, finally the doors opened, and out stepped Queen Victoria, dressed from head to foot in black, her veil so deep that they couldn't see her features. And she said, "I just have a few words before I go to join Albert. My end is at hand. I can't live another day without my dear Albert. But you must listen to the things I want to tell you." And it took her 44 more years to tell him. It's true. Victoria had every intention of never again appearing in public. She was in the deepest mourning and remained in mourning all of the rest of her life. She was in permanent retirement. She didn't think it would last very long. She ordered monuments and memorials to Albert set up all over the kingdom. And wherever there were monuments everywhere to him put up. All the towns you go in England, you'll see them. Windsor Castle and other busts and portraits of them both. They were all draped in black after that. She ordered the building of the Frogmore Mausoleum, where they both lay today. Everywhere she slept, wherever Victoria slept, for the rest of her life, over the bed, there was a photograph of Albert in his coffin. Yes, this was the high point of mourning. And all of England went into mourning with her. The middle class, of course, aped the nobility and the royals. And, of course, they were in the deepest mourning for the Queen. You mourn in black the first year, you mourn in purple the next year, and in gray the following. And after that, you go back to normal mufti. But everybody did it, and there was just everything. It was the heyday of mourning and mortuary science and the rest of it. It just was wonderful. But then, at the end of 1900, she decided to go over to Osborne for Christmas. She wasn't feeling very well. And by the end of the month, feeling very poorly. As the year turned, she took to her bed. The family was summoned. She would never leave the Isle of Wight. In the middle of January, her favorite grandson was holding her in bed, at the head of the bed, Kaiser Wilhelm II. And the Prince of Wales came in, and Victoria said, "Bertie, Bertie." Those were her last words. She died at 6:30 p.m. on the 22nd of January at the age of 82. Now, Queen Victoria was buried alongside dear Albert in the Frogmore Mausoleum, where they both are today. Victoria was honest, direct, loyal, generous, courageous to all. She gave her name to an age, but she was never a Victorian.